Holy nostalgia.
On today's episode, we welcome Rose and Courtney from the Fiction Fixation podcast to put the 1993 American science fiction action film Jurassic Park to the ultimate test, the nostalgia test. God creates dinosaurs, God destroys dinosaurs, God creates man, man destroys God, man creates dinosaur.
Dinosaur kills man. Women inherit the earth.
All right, there we go.
There we go, Dan. We're here again doing
Yep.
the 90s. If, again, you're going to hear this for the whole 2024. This is the nostalgia test. I'm Manny. And my friend Dan from LA is here. And we are putting, in 2024, we were doing all 90s. And we decided it was time to do Jurassic Park.
It's
Dan,
time. Yeah.
And it's a guest
Yeah.
episode.
Love a guest episode. In fact, I mean, let's just jump right in.
Let's jump in.
Rose and Courtney from the Fiction Fixation podcast. Thank you both for being here on today's Jurassic Park episode.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We are super excited to be here.
Yeah, I was just listening to your episode on Double Jeopardy. And well, first of all, I love that movie. We should actually put that to the test, Manny, because that's a good
genre
one.
like of movies was really interesting then, because like they were so predictable, but at the same time you were like waiting for that twist and you just couldn't. It was like there's this like suspense. You're like, all right, well, it's not over yet because there's another 30 minutes left of this movie. So like, what is about to happen? So it was all right. It wasn't all like kind of based on books and stuff like that. I thought, I don't know.
Yeah,
I might be making that up. I don't know. Yeah. So
yeah. It was a good one because Tommy Lee Jones also had like an era where it's like he's always chasing someone that was innocent and he just didn't care. And he's just always like, I don't care. It's like, we got it in Fugitive. And like now you're doing it over and over again. But
a thing about that was like, was that only like 2 years? But we think it's like 5 years that Tommy Lee Jones was like big. Like there was a time where he was in like everything and then he's not.
No.
Like, was that?
It was a few years.
It
wasn't that long.
But was it? I guess they were all shot at the same time, and then they just like exploded, and then you were like, "Oh yeah,
let's get all these Tommy Lee Jones movies out of the way."
You saw him in everything.
Like, let's get them all out of the way.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Google's a thing, but we don't ever Google anything or fact check anything. Googling's for pussies. So yeah, like we just make up our own facts as we go. So we're gonna assume it was just 2 years.
I love that. You hear that buzz in the tower?
Yeah. Buzzing time. You know what it is? I love it because I came from the time, we grew up in the era where you just kind of talked with people about it and it was fun because it caused conversation. Yes, I know that there's a product that we carry in our hand that would solve that. But then what are we going to talk about? And like, first of all, then there wouldn't be a podcast thing. There would be nothing. Like, it's like, all right, I know I could Google it, but I want to challenge my brain to like figure out like what other movies was he in and like how long did his reign last? And I really think it was only about 2 years, but I think it was probably like it was like 5. But like that happened to a lot of people, like movie stars. So like you're thinking like, oh yeah, that guy was in everything. It's like he was in everything for that year. And he was in everything for that year because the agent decided to make him do all these movies. And then they released it all at the same time because they just all wanted to make money on him. And, he might have shot those movies 4 years prior, but it was like, oh, he's in this too. It's like, he shot that a while ago, man. Just like they waited until he was popular. So they were like, oh yeah, like let's bring this one out because the other one did well. Just like Michael J. Fox's movie, Teen Wolf. He was in that crap and then was in Back to the Future. And just because Back to the Future did well, Teen Wolf did well, and that movie was going to do really bad because
that's a
not
Manny
as Back to the Future.
Tangent.
That is my tangent for the tangent.
Rose, I saw you wanted to say something while Manny was just going
No. I'm lost because I'm like, wait, Michael J. Fox was in Teen Wolf? Is that, or did you just make that up?
No, he
really was.
He started in that. Yeah.
That's crazy. No, I was going to say, I highly recommend everyone to at least one time try to have a conversation with your friends as if Google doesn't exist. And the best thing to do that I love to do, it always leads to really interesting conversation, is to ponder the evolutionary value of things. So like, for example, recently I was like, what is the evolutionary value of PMS? like why would a woman who didn't get pregnant be so angry, very specifically towards like men, because men are so annoying when you're PMSing. I know you guys don't know that, but you are.
Oh, I know.
Oh, I know.
And so,
I grew up
like
with
you
4
ponder
women.
like what's the evolutionary value of that? And then I decided, without Googling it, and I never will because I think this is the answer, is that the women want to like, our predecessors, they wanted to like scare away the men that didn't inseminate them, like they weren't worthy. So it's like,
that sounds
okay
about right for me.
That might be okay.
It's science. Yeah, it's science.
I'm thinking like animalistic wise. Yeah, like
it's science. Yes.
Like if
I thought it was because we were in like a vulnerable state. And so like we got like angry to scare the men away because there are predators.
That too.
Yeah.
Well, everyone
like waiting for the one that wasn't that like annoying. Is that the idea? Like the one that was gentle? Like I'm trying to think about how that, like, because you're saying PMS is the time right before you're ovulating. So no, it's after.
Right after.
So maybe you're just mad that you weren't.
Like,
maybe
your
body
high
is
school
just
education.
angry that it didn't happen. So
yes,
like,
that's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean.
Okay, all right.
That like the evolutionary value of PMS is the woman's body like getting angry because the man didn't impregnate her. And so now she's like, I need to scare him off so that another man can impregnate me.
You have to defeat the PMS in order to have a chance the next month.
Yeah.
I'm going with that.
Science.
Yeah. Well, everyone, welcome to the Fiction Fixation podcast. That is the greatest
talking about
introduction
evolution
to like a guest ever. That was we are so happy for you to be here. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about your podcast and like what you do and everything, and then we're gonna jump into Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Hey guys, we are Fiction Fixation.
I'm Courtney.
And I'm Rose. And we do hilarious movie recaps every week.
Yeah, we have like over 100 episodes ready for binging.
And we truly believe it's important to run away from your demons by disassociating. So we're here for you, just put us in your ear and go about your day without ever feeling anything. That's what we do.
Yeah, and you shouldn't run away in silence either. Nobody should do anything in silence. That's for sociopaths.
Ted Bundy didn't listen to podcasts and look what happened to him, So, yeah.
So tell us a little bit, like, how do you guys know each other?
We go way back.
Yeah, I was best friends with her little sister in middle school.
Yeah, so it's the weirdest thing because we weren't friends. We were just like living parallel to each other. I'm older than her by, I don't know, like 3 years, 8 years, 10, 20, 15.
I think it's 4.
Yeah, 4 years. But she was best friends with my younger sister who is a sociopath. Just kidding, she's not, but she was when she was a teenager for sure. So I was like, this chick for sure is not chill. Like, not talking to her. They both look like they could stab people at that age. But we reconnected as adults, and we're both writers. We were in the indie publishing game for a bit together. Courtney's my ride or die. So when I was like, hey, do you want to do a podcast? She was like, hold my beer and my baby, and we did it.
That's amazing.
No, and it's funny because I was only friends with her little sister. Well, I mean, her little sister were really close for a long time. But I only became friends with her to begin with because I was afraid of her. They had just moved from New York to Virginia. And we were on the bus and I stepped on her little sister's shoe and she screamed at me. And then she sat next to me. And then she told me that I was coming over to her house after school and I was afraid to say no. So I just did. And then every day for like the next 2 months, she's like, you're coming over to my house and hanging out. And I'm like, okay.
We held the white girl
payment.
hostage.
That's payment for stepping on her shoe. You're my friend now. You have to come over.
Yeah. Well, it was worth it. It was worth it because me and her younger sister were really good friends for a long time. And then Rose and I connected about being moms, way back when. And then after that, it's just every now and then it was just like, knock, knock, bitch, it's me again.
That's so funny.
I love it.
And now, so you're both moms. And you what do you guys review? Like from everything, like just movies?
Yeah, so we do books as well, but we do mostly movies because I'm a slow reader, dude. Like I need like a 3-month heads up if we're going to do a book.
So no book club for you. Like, can't be done in like a week or two. Like, nope, not happening.
Yeah, I need time. But we do books once in a while. We actually just did one. Our last episode was a book recap.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we do all types of movies except for horror. Rose doesn't like, she's squeamish. She doesn't like gory stuff. So I've tricked her into a couple of gory things by being like, it's not that bad. And then she's like, you lying fucking bitch. But for the most part, we do like rom-coms were our bread and butter for a long time. But then we were like, but what if we made fun of like John Green's Kids with Cancer?
That was fun.
That was fun.
That's actually, so we recapped. What was that called? A Fault in Our Stars. That's when we realized we just like found this Pandora's box where we were like, holy shit, we're really good with like dark shit. Like we just suddenly, all of our trauma, it just starts tap dancing, just like look at us, look at us. We love the dark humor, and it really comes out with the more serious movies. So sometimes those are more fun than the lighter ones.
You know, are you guys doing like current movies as well? Like it's not just like past movies. Yeah, really cool.
We're doing The Idea of You this coming Thursday, the one that just came out.
Okay.
Wow.
So you guys put a dark humor onto it. Like you review all of it. Like, are you trying to say the movie's good, or you're just kind of like, let's just talk about the movie and just see where it goes?
Yeah. So we're both writers. And so the vision for the podcast was to have like a storytelling medium. And so our podcasts are, you know, heavily produced and really tight. So if you listen to it, it'll be like under an hour, but it's like bam, 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 bam. And we hit the major, you know, story points. You're going to feel like you watched this movie or read this book, because we're going to tell it as a story, but we also like weave in a lot of banter and jokes, and we take it weird places sometimes.
Okay.
We tried not to editorialize too much, but we do. So that's not the purpose of the podcast, but we're going to do it anyways.
Yeah. It's kind of like with our podcast, like we've been trying, we are always like, all right, we're going to stay on point. I have a timer. It always goes off, and then like, it just continues to just like,
I have ADHD, so it's not possible. And we're from New York, so I just interrupt.
And it's, you know,
and we go all over the place. Like we'll tell the ending of the, like, spoiler alert, Jurassic Park. We're going to spoiler all of it. So if you haven't watched it because you've been living under
Jurassic
a rock,
Park,
and just go stop this and go watch it, because we spoil every movie ever. So
anyway,
sometimes I'll take my ADHD medication as we start recording, and Rose will be like, it's going to be a long recording, isn't it?
Dan's alarm will go off, and I'm like, yeah, we're ignoring that, Dan. Like we're in a tangent. We have to go.
Yeah.
Like, so
we're in.
That's cool though.
That's great.
Yeah.
How many years are you doing it?
When did we start? 2021?
Yeah. I think this is our third year.
Yeah. So we just published like our 132nd episode.
Wow.
So we've been pretty steady. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yep. And we launched with what, 6 episodes? 3?
3, yeah.
3.
Wow. That's
Dan's
awesome.
Jealous right now.
That's amazing. Well,
Dan's jealous. He wants to record every week. It doesn't happen.
We definitely have 2 great people then to do Jurassic Park. So
yes,
this movie came out in 1993. It starred, Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, Sam Jackson's in it, Newman from Seinfeld. This is a great cast. And I remember
even the little kids, they were popular back then.
Oh yeah,
that little boy was from Radio Flyer, which is one of my
dear God
all-time. It's a great. I don't want to say it's a great movie because it's really bad. It's a sad movie.
I saw that,
but
when
like
I was a kid.
It is ingrained in my head. Like that movie is. Whew, I can't believe I was allowed to watch that movie as a child. Like that's a movie that you need like a psychiatrist next to you after that movie.
Yeah.
That movie is.
It was the 90s. You're lucky your parents remembered to feed you. Okay.
Yeah,
exactly. When they went to the movie, like when they went to the video store, they didn't really read the back. They're like, "Oh, Radio Flyer. This looks like a kid's movie." And then they're watching it with us, and we're like, this is, oh boy, we definitely.
Yeah, this kid uses his imagination to make a plane. It's like, yeah,
run away.
He's running away from someone who's beating him with a cord that he puts in an oven. That
Jesus
such
Christ.
a crazy movie.
Yeah, no, the movie is horrifying.
That movie is crazy. And Tom Hanks is in that movie. He's the narrator. Oh,
yeah.
Oh
That's
my
a really weird
God.
movie.
Yeah, anyways.
Yeah. So
that
Park.
kid was in it and he was good. He was Charlie, right? That's the guy's name, Charlie, in it? Yeah. Okay.
So
Back
do
to
you
it.
do you remember seeing this in the movie? Do you remember seeing this for the first time? When did you see it? For me, 1993, I saw it in the movie theater. It was mind-blowing as a child to see this. I couldn't believe what was happening. And I just loved this movie. I read the book afterwards as well, and I thought the book was really great as well. But this movie blew my mind when I was a kid. It was amazing. 1993, big time for movies. You know, Manny, do you remember?
I do. I remember, I think I definitely saw this in the movie theater. This was just huge to me. First of all, Steven Spielberg was like, for some reason, I was really into Steven Spielberg. Like, and I loved I didn't understand why I liked the storytelling, but I was into film. I went to school for film. But this is one of the reasons why I got into film. The way this like just looked in theater, I still remember as a child. Like, and I wasn't a dinosaur kid. Like I wasn't. My neighbor was. Billy was. That's been on the show a couple of times. I knew him since second grade, and he was so into dinosaurs, and I think I probably went to see this with him. So I was just excited to see this. You know, his eyes light up when this all happened. I just thought it was amazing movie. So yeah, that was my thing. I saw it at Roosevelt Theater. So yeah.
Nice.
What about you guys?
It seems like dinosaurs are like a gateway thing because it's like you're either like crazy about them or you know T-Rex and that's it, right? Like you don't, there's like no in between. I don't remember seeing this in the movie theaters. I do remember watching it somehow, probably on cable or something. But I remember being really scared and I didn't remember the plot of it until I just rewatched it now.
So I remember I was probably about 6 when I watched it the first time. I don't remember exactly how old, but I remember the house I was living in. So probably about 6. And it was nightmare fuel. And I was terrified. I think I was about 6, and my parents had like rented it or something. It was like discounted to rent when Blockbusters was, the OG, and it was like 99 cents to rent. And my parents were like, screw it, let's get Jurassic Park. Courtney will love it.
No food today.
Right. Thanks, Dad. But so we got it, and I remember watching it. And my parents were like, look at all the dinosaurs. And at first it was like so mystical and like so like fantastical. And I love fantastical things. And I was like enthralled. And then people started getting 8. And I was like, I don't think I like this anymore. And my dad's like, we paid $1 for this movie. You're going to sit and watch it.
You will watch these people get eaten. Sit down. Well, I mean, the opening scene, I mean, the gatekeeper job. I mean, that poor guy, that poor ass, they had to call him in. It's like everyone else walked away. And this one dude, the gatekeeper, has to pull up the gate for what looks like the most dangerous animal on the planet now. And he's like, do, do, do. And
yeah, he pulls it up so lightly as if and he didn't seem scared at all.
No.
Like, oh, I do this all the time. This is easy. And it's like, no.
Can we talk about that? What, like, they have all of these automated things, but a human being has to go and physically open up the gate to this crate. That was an OSHA violation, like 100%. That was an OSHA violation.
Like, they spared no expense. The guy says it 100 times in this movie, but they spared the expense on the lock opening. Like everything else was sensors everywhere, all that stuff. But you know what? We got to manually open the lock to feed. Right? It wasn't even feed him. They were delivering him, right? The raptor at that point. Yeah.
You got to cut corners somewhere.
Yeah.
The
investors had second thoughts. And didn't you hear the lawyer?
Yeah.
That guy, well, that lawyer, that guy was hilarious.
When they put the thing down, I'm like, why don't they just put it in more? Like they just, it was just like, and I understand there would be no movie, but it was just like, come on, like put it in, movie's over. Like they do it right. Like precautions are taken everywhere. It's like, nope.
Yeah. And then they like shoot her, but they're not shooting. They're like shocking her. They're just making the dinosaur angry.
Well, he says shoot her at the end.
They waited 20 fucking minutes to decide to do anything. They're like, let's see if she calms down.
Yeah.
The guy's being dragged into the crate.
Like
and they're like, hold on, let's not be rash here. Let's not be rash.
I just want to know what's
he'll be
left
fine
of
with
guy.
just half a torso. It's
yeah.
fine. It's fine. I could still save him. Like, hold on.
He doesn't
He's like holding. I'm like, why not say shoot her as soon as the man goes? Like, just shoot her. Like, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Because they have a building full of freshly graduated paleontologists that would have otherwise been on Friends that are ready to put it back together. Okay.
That's true.
Like,
those are facts.
Yes.
Oh my God, that was amazing. I mean, because like you never have. Go ahead, Rose. I feel you want to say something. Go ahead.
No. I was just thinking like it was just such an intense. Like I laughed actually when I was watching that scene just now. I watched it like a couple hours ago, but I laughed because it was just such an intense, controlled situation, like dozens of armed men. And then you have like this very like secured looking crate and it's metal and it looks like nothing's getting out of there. And then just one dude like like going up and then getting dragged in. It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
But he sued. The guy's family is suing as they should.
Must. Yeah.
Thank God.
I mean, duh. Yeah.
But like, what was the job description? I want to know how you get that job, how you apply to these jobs on Jurassic Park.
They didn't
just
say
all
anything.
of Jurassic Park, like all.
They
of
didn't
it.
mention. They didn't mention dinosaurs.
No, they're like
wildlife rehab facility.
I love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But even the next scene where the lawyer is like bouncing on that like wooden raft. I'm like, how much more do you have to show that you're like, they're like, we're in Costa Rica, or they just keep going in these like these exotic lands. It's like, where did that guy come from that he had to go to that dock? And like, because I was like, okay, he's using that as a transportation. He's standing on there all wrong. He could have like surfed it. He's kind of like standing straight, like stupid guy already. Like he's gonna fall on his face. But I was like, but where's he coming from? Like, why do they need to have that? That scene was like purposeless to me.
Yeah, I agree. There was like the beginning. I understand them showing like there's something in this crate. We don't know what it is, right?
Yeah.
But then they cut to the Dominican Republic, which is where I'm from. So I like brought out my flag. I was like, that's where I'm from. That's like the origin of dinosaurs. I'm just kidding. I don't know. But that's what they found the mosquito and like trapped inside of the. But that felt random because I was wondering, is that the original mosquito that they found, or is that just another one?
I think they're just finding multiple mosquitoes, like they're looking for mosquitoes, and then we never go back there again. Like that guy, like none of those actors. It was like
that guy just wanted to bring up that scene was only to set up the mosquito thing,
right?
And just call the doctor a digger.
Yeah,
he's like me. He's a digger, and it's like cut. Next scene. Dude's like somewhere else now. We've now traveled somewhere else, and they're with kids trying to dig up this raptor. And this is now like, let's set up the love of this guy's like love of raptors and how awkward he is with children. And he like tells that story to that child and like explains how they got him and stuff like that. There's this part I have to say was a little awkward to me. I'm like, what is the point of this scene? In the comparison of all of Jurassic Park movie, that was like the wasted 10 minutes to me, but that's just
listen, that kid was being a little shithead. And honestly, if Alan would have pulled a gun on him, I'd have been like, you know what? It feels right. It feels right, because he was being a little shithead. And I'm really glad he changed his tune after Alan was like, he's going to gut you with his middle finger, motherfucker. I'm really glad that kid did change his tone, because otherwise I'd have been like, you know what? You deserve to be fed to raptors.
Yeah, that was the best part. Like, because he like goes, first of all, he says he's going to cut him here across the chest, then across somewhere else, then his gut. I'm like, where was the second slice? Like, this whole thing was really weird. And it was basically Sam Neill I love Sam Neill. I think he's hilarious. He's amazing in this part. And I think like Alan Grant and Grant and Ellie. I mean, it's such a weird. I don't even know if they're dating. It's just a weird relationship that those two have. I don't get it. But I love him because he's the fact that like he doesn't care to scare the shit out of this kid and to put this kid in his place. I was like, yeah, do it. That was great. I loved all of that. I loved it.
He was
sometimes
so
kids
graphic.
need that.
Yeah. I mean, listen, put a pin on annoying fucking kids because I have something to say later about the little boy in this movie, Jimmy.
Okay.
Timmy. His name's Timmy.
Is it Timmy? It's Jimmy in my notes.
I mean, you can bring it up now. You don't have to put a pin on it.
Tommy. It's Tommy.
We go
Tommy.
No, because so I mean, but I wanted to talk about the old investor dude. So the guy that you said he's a digger, like, is he a digger? Because I thought he was the investor. So we have this like Dumbledore looking.
Are you talking about Paleo Peepaw?
I'm talking about the John Hammond. He was the old
Paleo
man.
Peepaw.
Is that his name? Paleo Peepaw. Got it. I see what you did. I'm with you. Paleo Peepaw. Papa? Yeah. Paleo Papa?
Paleo Papa works.
Paleo Pop. Dumbledore looking motherfucker. It's like, okay, this is what I don't understand, like right off the bat. Because like the whole point of this man bringing 3 scientists and a lawyer to the park is because he needs to get it signed off, right? Like, hey, we need to get it signed off that this park is safe. Also, my grandkids are here and they're also going on this tour. And I'm like,
bad idea.
That guy was psychopath.
Worst grandfather ever.
I thought, first of all, he appears in the truck, in their truck.
How
like
quickly
grabbing
did he get
champagne
from the helicopter to the
helicopter? See the helicopter? They're still talking to the helicopter guy, and they pointing the truck. I'm like, what is he, Houdini? How did nobody see guy in white?
Just all white.
Cane over to the truck. He didn't just like run there. He had to like hobble over, and he's just like there, and he's like, hey, and he had the weirdest face, dude, is out of touch with everyone.
Yeah.
And anything that's going on. Like, obviously, like you're saying, like he brought his grandkids on this, like, let's test out the park.
Let's test the dinosaur park
with my grandkids, because he wants to use the demographic this is geared towards.
Well, nobody brought the lawyer there. Nobody brings a lawyer anywhere. Okay. Like I work for lawyers. Nobody brings a lawyer anywhere. The lawyer had to go because the investors were like, this seems dangerous and inconvenient. And the lawyer's like, oh, check it out. But also like Paleo Pop sound like he feels like Willy Wonka if Willy Wonka had more dangerous toys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah,
totally agree.
And I do agree that he's a little bit of a sociopath because when his 2 grandkids were stranded out there with wild, dangerous dinosaurs, he was eating dinner.
Because the ice cream was melted.
He was eating ice cream.
Not only dinner, he's eating melted ice cream. That's disgusting. Like, I understand there's the point of good melted ice cream. It was at the point of like warm.
Yeah.
There was it wasn't cold anymore. It was no like lightly frosty, like you're having a Wendy's frosty. It was gross. It was a gross point right there.
Yeah.
And like that scene, he was like very chewy. Like you heard like
He's just
I'm like, we don't need this soundtrack. Like, Steven, please. That didn't need to be in the soundtrack. Like I didn't.
Well, we could just be thankful that the plumbing is hopefully not attached to the electric and that still worked.
I hope so.
It's so much
gravity.
Scary.
I hope.
But how long did it take him to look for his grandkids? Like, if I was these grandkids, like parents, I'd be like, "What the fuck, Peepaw?"
Were they even alive?
He never looked for them.
No.
He did at one point. He's like, can you please go and get my grandkids?
He sent somebody else, and then he went to go eat ice cream.
He said Crocodile Dundee.
And what was that meal? Whose meal was that for? Because it was only the 6 of the people, and for some reason, everyone had to leave at 5 o'clock. Like there's like us the 5:30, 5:30.
Everyone.
I'm like, you mean no scientists hang out? Like that's how like trustworthy you are of this technology that you're just like nobody's looking at these baby freaking reptiles being born. Like, come on, people would, there would be bunk beds. There would be something. No, like for some reason, because the storm's coming, we're going to get everybody home, except for the people that are on this test trip. And question, where's the guy that was dealing with the poop and he was driving the gas Jeep? He doesn't come back in the story after he goes, oh, I'll drive her.
He drops her off and then he
So you're saying he drops her off and goes to the boat.
So he's not the same guy as the game warden?
No.
Not the same guy? Okay.
Different dude. That guy, that was a plot hole. Because I'm like, that guy didn't make the boat. Because that boat, first of all, when the guy's calling on the thing and you're seeing the video, and it's like, that storm looked crazy. It was already flooded. They're not waiting for anybody. They left. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
That guy didn't make it on the boat either. He's gone.
No.
And then
that boat sank.
The boat sank.
Boat didn't make it.
He's still wandering the island. Like they just forgot about him. Nobody did a muster check. Nobody was taking roll. He's just still wandering the island.
Yes.
No.
He got eaten by the Tyrannosaurus Rex later on.
Yeah.
That
for sure, 100%.
Like, what? I'm trying to remember what 2 was like, but that's a whole other thing.
It's
but
stupid.
Like, yeah. But it's true. The grandfather was just like, first of all, the amount of times he said spared no expense, the joke finally ended when he was eating the ice cream and she's like, this was good. And he's like, spared no expense. I was like, oh my God, finally. Like seven spared no expenses later, you finally hit the joke. But I'm like, but who was the rest of the meal for? Because there was only 6 of you and you guys, somebody had to cook it. So who was going to clean? They sent everybody home.
Nobody
was going to clean after these people.
You're so worried about this.
He's going to leave it for the help tomorrow.
Because I'm thinking in my head, I'm going, it all worked out. And there was no storm. The park went as planned.
Yeah.
They came back.
Yeah.
They're having this meal. There's nobody. There's no waiters there. There's nobody cleaning up after them. There's no entertainment. What are they doing at that park afterwards?
Yeah.
I think they're leaving.
Just like taking off on the helicopter?
Yeah, it's just one day. They came there for one day, probably.
There's no hotel. They poorly planned park.
It's not a resort. It's not a resort.
Okay.
Thank God
it's like a day resort.
All right. So their plan was they were going to do this circle and then leave. Okay, that's where our plot was.
That's what I don't understand about Jurassic Park. How do you get the people that want to go to Jurassic Park to the park? Right? Like he said, it's open to everyone. How? You have one helicopter pad. Yeah. How are you getting it's impossible.
So I call bullshit that it's for everybody. Do you know how much it costs to feed one tiger? Okay. A lot of fucking money. All right. It's a lot of fucking money to feed one tiger. Yeah. And now you're feeding 3 velociraptors and at least 1 T-Rex. That's a lot of money. And they're like, oh no, we're not going to charge a whole bunch of money for the tickets. They want to be affordable for everybody. Okay, well, I'm sorry. Maybe this is where Eat the Rich started, because that's the only people coming here is the rich, because you're not going to be able to have these discount, $25 tickets to come here if you're going to have to helicopter them in. Because you're having to feed that T-Rex, 6 Nigerian dwarf goats a day? Yeah. Okay. And those are not cheap.
Yeah. Remember
Courtney would know. She collects them. She collects Nigerian dwarf goats.
What do they feed the tiger? They maybe then get the tiger and feed the tiger to.
So he has a zoo.
It's a pyramid scheme.
One tiger is about the same price as 6 dwarf goats.
True. Okay.
I mean,
all right. So it's only for the rich, but they could have taken a boat, Dan, obviously. So they didn't have to just take a helicopter. The helicopter is just a fancy way to get down into the hole.
Right.
I mean, how many rich people can you pack on a single pontoon boat?
That's well, we saw it in Lost World. Obviously, one boat, and then they crashed, and then they got killed. So I mean, this is a poorly planned.
This is a cruise ship dock.
Yeah.
They had a cruise ship. No,
this is I mean, in the beginning when he was trying to do this, and John Hammond was like, "This I'm going to make this park." Blah blah blah. Why didn't he just stop? At herbivores, just stop there.
Yeah,
that's enough.
I would have been just as excited.
Yeah,
right.
When that scene when they see the dinosaur for the first time, it's like that's it. You've done your job. You don't have to then go, yeah, we clocked the T-Rex at 30 miles an hour. At that point, Sam Neill should have smacked the shit out of John Hammond and be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Why would you make the Predator?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was such a beautiful scene when they show like the long neckosaurus, the one with the long necks. I don't know any of their names. The long neckosaurus. That was beautiful.
I love that name, by the way.
And this, it's, I'm very
It's a great name for it because it's exactly what it is.
Why aren't they fucking called what they look like?
Yeah.
Okay, well, they are in Land Before Time, so.
Small little arm, angry one. Anyway, so
small little.
No, it was a really beautiful scene, and I actually read that this movie was the first time that they used CGI, like photorealistic CGI, to make like creatures.
Yeah,
and I was impressed with that first scene because I was like, that kind of holds up. It doesn't look crazy fake.
Yeah,
I
do remember being a kid and being like, everything there, like not only the great CGI, the practical effects as well that mixed into it was so good, and you're like, I'm almost scared to go to this ride because you knew they were going to make a ride out of this thing,
right?
And you're like, this is going to be a crazy ride if you ever went to this place, because all they had to use is the stuff that was used in the movie and just like bring it to the ride.
I mean, I almost cried when I saw that scene. I was because of the music. I actually, as a kid, I had this soundtrack on cassette, and I used to listen to this as a kid.
Just the immersion scene.
Yeah, I love it. I loved it. I loved it. I mean, in high school,
it's now a meme on like TikTok, like where you like you're trying to advertise something, like he like grabs her head and turns, and like it's like a stupid scene or whatever, but like a hot dog or a hamburger or something.
A hot dog or a hamburger.
Listen, for me, a beer. Ellie was way happier playing in Triceratops shit than she was being hunted by raptors. So I definitely agree with the stop at herbivores.
Yeah,
absolutely.
100%.
Yes. Yeah.
And the unlock. What about the doors that just could like open?
Dude.
Yeah.
Why do you need those doors should never be able to be like unlocked by humans unless like a safety thing button that you have to press. But he literally just walked out. I was like, right there. The lawyer then got like blinded by cash. Remember, like they're in that like little conference room. The lawyer's like agreeing with him, and I was like, this lawyer should have just been like, violation. Like you could just walk out.
There's a lawsuit waiting to happen. The whole thing. We already had one.
And it was. They already had a lawsuit. But you know, I think that the first crime that they committed in the whole logistical planning of the main facility, the visitor center, is that they have the handles that they have on the doors are the ones that you just like tilt down. Even, like if you have a toddler, you wouldn't have that. You know what I mean? Because it's so easy to open. And for a while, I was like confused. I was like, how the fuck did the dinosaurs get inside the building? Are they fucking turning doorknobs? And then they literally were fucking turning doorknobs.
Yeah, because a fucking smart dog could turn that doorknobs. Like you said, not that hard.
Tilt. Yeah,
it's a lever.
He's going like this. Yeah. So that's a poorly played. You're right. It should have been round doorknobs or no doorknobs at all.
Because
you have this.
You need a thumb. You need a thumb to turn.
Or like an ID card. An ID card.
Why
like,
not an ID card
or handprint? Like I mean,
hear me out. Motion. You need a fingerprint.
There you go. Human fingerprint.
If you don't have a thumb, you don't get in.
Listen, if I can't get into my fucking gym without a swipe card, the Velociraptors should not be able to get into the building without a swipe card also.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can't get into my office without swiping a card. Like
it's like you could clone these things, but you can't get a secure door.
There's a lot of expense spared.
Can we talk about their ultra sophisticated like science for cloning? Like, bro.
Oh my God.
That seems
when they show the scene where it's like they have the mosquito and it's embedded in this like fossilized tree sap, and then they're like, and we use a very sophisticated equipment to extract the DNA.
A drill,
like, bro. That's literally a drill bit and a needle. Like, calm the fuck down.
You just went to Ryobi. You just bought a Ryobi in the used the syringe that I used.
That's a DeWalt no spare dispense.
There you go. That's true. Ryobi. That's for the other Jurassic Park too. Like
that was hilarious, and like the when they got into the lab, no one's wearing a mask, no one is sterilized, everyone's got their hair out, everyone's just like, hey, we're cloning things. Doesn't matter. And the dude from SVU is there, the psychiatrist from Law and Order SVU is the guy.
He's also the psychiatrist in Oz.
Yeah,
he's also in Oz. Yeah,
he's always a doctor. He's always a doctor. I mean,
they typecasted him, Dan. He's
Reginald Vell Johnson is always a cop, like, from Family Matters. And
are we talking about the Asian one?
Yeah. He's a doctor. He's a
That's
doctor.
Racist.
But this whole
he's a good actor, but he always kind of plays like
This, he also kills someone doctor, in Law and Order, which was pretty badass.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. There's 100 million episodes that could be.
You could tell.
A good paid actor.
You could tell that as soon as like Alan started asking questions to the doctor, Alan's like, "You guys are fucking dumb," and even Ian was like, "Y'all are dumb." But the thing is that Alan's like, I need to help them realize how dumb they are, and Ian's like, "You guys are gonna fucking die." Anyways.
What was it? Back to the scene in the helicopter when they made Alan look a little like clumsy that he couldn't freaking figure out the damn seatbelt. I'm like, what? So you're making him, he's kind of stupid and he only really knows one science. I'm like, for him to know a lot of the shit about things, he can't just be like, he doesn't know how to put on a seatbelt. And then she didn't know either. Like, they're just like goofy people. Like they were just like,
don't put it on.
They'll just like they're just like
he wasn't
it's 1993. Nobody's clicking or ticketing you. All right?
What's there's no nobody.
And they weren't so the idea in that helicopter. They were flying in a helicopter for God knows how long. No one was wearing a seatbelt, and now they're descending. It's like seatbelts on. Like come on, like it's just a weird scene. So he could tie it and not be like, yep. Like,
to be honest, if you get in a helicopter crash, that seatbelt's not really going to help you.
Oh no, you're exploding.
No,
like it's over. But I like.
Don't keep your body in place so they can identify it later.
Do you like Jeff Goldblum's character in this movie?
I loved it. I love Jeff Goldblum in all iterations.
Yes.
Okay, listen. Jeff Goldblum was hot then, and Jeff Goldblum is hot now. I just saw him do an interview at the Met Gala, and I was like, Jeffrey,
Daddy,
Daddy. Do you love him in his I Love Apartments commercials?
All of them.
He's awesome. Yeah,
all of them.
His character in this movie was interesting because it's like, it's almost like they just wanted him there to say specific lines because he had some of the best lines in the movie. But then also they knocked him out for like 30% of the movie because it's almost like they didn't know what to do with him. So they were like, "Oh, you're unconscious, but not dead because we don't want you to die because you have other cool lines to say."
Yeah,
it was really weird.
The power of Jeff Goldblum is too strong, and they're like, "We have to sedate you."
Yeah.
He was
so strong that he couldn't get eaten by T-Rex. Like, did you see the scene when I forgot that I
was like, stay in the car.
He distracted him, which he didn't need to do.
No.
Like, the Rex was already being distracted and was going to go after the fire stick. And then like he comes out. And then the best part is like when the guy's in the bathroom and like Jeff comes through, he's kind of caught. If you look really close and you slow down the scene, he's like in the Rex's mouth, but like spread legged. And like the Rex wasn't able to like eat Jeff because he was too hot. He was too hot.
That lucky T-Rex.
The steam from that undercarriage.
Got a little bit of Jeff. That was it. Because he got his leg, right? Like the whole thing was that he ate, he got part of his leg.
Oh,
maybe but they needed to get him out of there because they needed now to like have the scene of the him and the two kids. Like they're like, okay, now
they needed to get the lawyer out of the way.
That guy sucks.
What are these buildings made out of? That like bathroom literally fell apart like a freaking paper bag.
They had to play the scene. They were
spared
like,
no
expense. Make a
expense.
tiki hut bathroom. Like, why is there a tiki hut?
Like the first little piggy's house.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think that when he keeps saying spared no expense, I'm starting to think he spared some expenses because he also he doesn't have enough like developers on there to handle the code. And let me tell you something, this entire facility that is housing all of these super dangerous predators it's running on Windows 92.
It totally was.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
It's running on paint, Rose. All right.
Yeah.
She's
like trying to hack the thing, and it's like taking. I'm like, what is she doing? Why are we playing a video game? That's not how files work, right? Or did it back then? I don't know.
No,
like,
dude,
I was like, why is this?
No.
Why not just look up like
when they were doing
turn on this? Like
it was like DOS.
She's like
all she had
all
to
of a sudden they're like, oh, the girl's got she's good at hacking. I'm like, she's literally playing a video game right now, like trying to, and it's just flying into this thing. I'm like, this is taking way too long. This is taking way too long.
Well, it was like when they said the speech, like, oh, our scientists use virtual reality to fill the gaps in the DNA. And I'm like, in 1993? I'm like, there's no way. It's not gonna, it's gonna like be horrible. Like, just get the, it was like,
why did they use a frog? I don't understand. Like, why did they use a frog? Because like, aren't, but maybe I'm just dumb. Okay. Like, I'm a paralegal. I'm not a scientist. So maybe the science is eluding me, but like, aren't dinosaurs reptiles? So why would they use amphibian DNA? But like, why wouldn't they also use like something closer to a dinosaur, like an alligator?
I think I know why. It's because they needed to have that plot twist where it's like, oh my gosh.
So
they
plot.
laid eggs. It's because of plot. They did it because of plot.
So they're fucking dumb too. All right.
Yes. They needed to show that. Yeah, exactly. They needed to show that they were reproducing, because you remember Jeff brings that up. He's like, how do you know? Like, life will find a way. And it's that's the plot twist, because you're right.
Yeah.
They say they're close to reptiles, but then what's his name was always arguing that they're actually closer to birds.
Right.
So then would that mean that they should use bird DNA? Like,
well,
what's going on?
Have you ever? Well, they fertilize them in ostrich eggs.
Exactly.
Y'all,
so
this was prior to Google. We weren't
they were just guessing. They were just going.
This is all explained in the book.
You could say anything in the movie, and people are like.
It's explained in the book.
In the book, there's like 50 or 70 pages of science, like long section, because the book
how it worked.
Long. Yeah, they go through it. They go through a lot of detail.
They spared that expense of the movie.
yeah, exactly. They do a lot of different type of work in the.
Well, I'm likely to agree with Alan when he says that they're closer to birds. Because have y'all ever met a chicken?
Yes.
Like
chicken.
Yesterday.
Okay.
I've been around a chicken. Yeah.
Just walking down Melrose Avenue, there was a chicken.
Okay, so you live in LA. Where do you live, Manny?
New York.
New York. Okay. So I don't live in the city. I live in Kentucky, and I have chickens. Listen, if someone's like, these are descendants of dinosaurs, I'm like, no, that checks out, because that rooster, me and Lewis, we get into it sometimes.
Yeah,
they scare the hell
out of him. Stare like the raptor does.
Yes, the rooster will stare you down, and he like puffs up, and he makes that chirping sound, like that purring sound, like the raptors. He makes that sound, and then he charges towards you, and he tries to flog you with his claws, and I have to grab him by his like feet and hold him upside down until he passes out.
Jesus Christ!
What?
I would just be like,
this is a daily thing that happens.
It's all you, bro.
And so not every day.
Okay.
I'm calling Peter.
But it's like a weekly thing.
Wow. You guys just don't get along. Wait,
no, so that's how all roosters are.
But if you put him upside down and they fall asleep?
Yeah, he falls asleep.
Does he shake a lot before that?
All the blood rushes to his head?
Yeah, he flaps and shakes and squawks.
Okay, and then he just goes to sleep. Is it like a game he's playing maybe? He wants that high? He's just like,
no, he wants to kill me.
He's like, oh, she's gonna put me upside down again. I've trained her. Like, I love it.
No, he wants to fight me.
Oh God, that's crazy. Has he ever gotten a little peck?
Not this rooster. We had another rooster named Brennis when we lived in Louisville. And Brennis, we had to keep a broom by the front door to like beat him off because he would attack us. And he actually
why I love living in a city. People like how do you live in cities is like crazy.
He got my youngest under the eye, and he had to get 4 stitches.
No.
Jesus Christ.
No. See?
Oh, now do you have them because you have hens and that's how you make eggs?
Well, you don't need a rooster for eggs. Hens lay eggs. Well, he was an accident. They were on sale at Tractor Supply for $1. So I bought all of them.
Yeah.
It was a deal.
It was a deal. How do I say no?
I mean, $1 for a rooster?
Well, it was $1 for chickens, but I didn't know if they were boys or girls, so I had to take the gamble. But no, we have
only
chickens.
$1.
Only $1.
Cheaper than an egg sandwich in New York.
But we have
eggs all day.
Yeah, but we have our chickens, and now we just hatched a whole bunch. So I think there's like 5 baby chickens upstairs right now.
Wow.
And then we have like 6 adult chickens outside.
Hey guys.
Wow. Hold on to your butts.
Hey guys, I did not remember that Samuel L. Jackson was in this movie.
Oh,
yeah.
He needed more lines.
When I saw him,
he was the guy smoking inside.
I was like, what? Samuel L. Jackson is here?
Yeah.
They did him so dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did, because he didn't get the cool kill scene that he got in Deep Blue Sea. Like if they were gonna kill Samuel L. Jackson,
that was such a good one.
Let's give him time on screen. Like that would have been amazing.
Yeah, I kind of thought his exit sucked because he was just kind of like, I'll go do it. I'm like, I would have much rather just seen it. Like I get they wanted to like scare us with the hand, but like it would have been cool to like you just kind of like, oh, this guy's kind of saving the park. He's like rebooting stuff. He's kind of a wise ass to the old man, and he's like, she told you needed more help. Like you got a lot of ice cream, but you didn't want to get more help.
Got a lot of ice cream.
Yeah, but like, yeah, why didn't he kill him that way? They were kind of just like, all right, we don't need you anymore. But that was also the time that Samuel Jackson was in every movie. Like there was like a story that he didn't say no to anything. Like people would just ask him to be like, oh, just be in here for this many lines. He's like, yeah, sure, I'll get paid. Like, why not?
I really think he probably I would really have loved to see like a snakes on a plane type monologue while he's fighting this raptor in the building.
Yeah.
I think that just would have really like added a little something extra to the movie,
Absolutely. Sure. Absolutely. I mean, there were a lot of good side characters. I mean, him, Newman was great.
I'm glad that little shit got ate.
Yeah, but he was so funny when you first see him eating all this whatever he was eating at the restaurant. That guy comes, he's like, Dotson's here. He's like, see, no one cares. He's like, that's like, I love that part.
Did you notice the Easter eggs in here with him?
No.
He's wearing 2 of the Goonies outfits. Oh, look at that!
What the hell was that?
Oh, because I have Apple and Apple with like their new thing. Anything
that happens to me too.
Which if I do this long enough, there you go. There's fireworks, but my green screen is so yeah, he's wearing the chubby kid's Hawaiian shirt,
chunks,
and then when he's trying to get his Jeep to get out of the tree, he's wearing the raincoat that he's wearing in Goonies. The other guy's wearing.
That did look familiar. I was like, what is the deal? Because it looks very obvious. Like, I'm wearing this yellow raincoat. Look at it. It's significant.
Yeah, exactly. It was an Easter egg for Goonies.
Shit.
Yeah.
But Timmy.
Yeah, I thought that was who?
No, go ahead.
Timmy.
Do you want to
Join Kid. Yeah, go for it.
Was it Tommy?
Tommy?
Is it Timmy, Jimmy, or Tommy?
Timmy.
Okay, Courtney's usually right.
Timmy.
Okay, Timmy was a little shit, and he was so fucking annoying.
Oh my God.
And when because he kept refusing what he needed, he kept refusing to do what he needed to do to survive. And so if he would have died, I wouldn't have been that mad. When the electric fence turned back on and he was shocked, listen, I'm not saying he deserved it. I'm just saying God's timing is always right.
I mean, God tried a couple times with Timmy.
God was right.
Multiple times. This the guy who doesn't like kids keeps saving him.
Like, so true.
Every time.
No, but he did, like, this kid had some like Final Destination moments, like several. It's like he was really supposed to die here.
I mean, turn on the light. Why are you turning? Well, no, she turned on the light.
Yeah,
she did.
He had the glasses, right? He was annoying, and the guy's like, put them down, they're heavy. That means they're expensive and stuff.
And he went back to sleep.
Yeah, and he
in front of this
lawyer wasn't scared at all of a sudden. Like, he just goes to sleep.
Yeah.
Right. But like, yeah, he had the scene where like the Rex is basically going after Timmy. Like, he doesn't even care about her. He's just like,
because how did a skylight save them? when the T-Rex goes through the roof of the car, there's only a thin piece of plexiglass or glass. How did it just stop there? I mean, he would have just went straight through. And
T-Rex proof plexiglass. They've made it back then.
And how did it fall in like a freaking cardboard?
The seal that they had around.
They spared expense on the glue.
There you go.
He worked on it. That's how he knows. He was part of the team.
Yeah. The Rex was watching them, going, "If it rains a lot, it's time to do it." Yeah. Yo, he almost did die. Like he was on the tree and he doesn't want to leave. I'm like, just leave him, dude. Just leave him. There's always the joke that everything fell on Timmy, like just enough not to kill him.
Yes. Yep. Multiple things, multiple times. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
If the helicopter at the end would have went down with Timmy in it, I'd have been like, it was his fault.
Yeah.
It was Timmy. Yeah.
But it would have been like the helicopter fell in such a way that Timmy was just like in a cocoon. Like, I'm like, damn it, Timmy's still alive. Like,
he's the lone survivor at the end.
But those two kids are like the
even
trauma
at the end when he's
forever.
eating, like they're like, stay here,
this movie.
Stop getting in trouble. After he just got woken up out of being like, whatever, he just walks over to the thing and starts. I guess like in stressful situations, you do eat.
Well, he did stay there, so it's not like he left the room until the Velociraptor got there. So I think he gets a pass on the cake.
Okay. Gets a pass on the cake. I agree.
Yeah.
I'll give him a pass because he's stressed. He just died.
Well, they also had
him back to life. Like how many? Like he was gone for what? Like a minute? You would say?
Maybe he's brain dead. Like maybe he has like brain damage now.
I think he was brain damaged before. But...
there's probably a lot of head trauma going on at this point.
Yeah. I mean, they went.
Sorry, go ahead, Danny. Danny can't get a word in with a whole bus.
Go, Rose. Go.
No, I was going to say so there's this kind of epic scene where it's like a Jeep versus the T-Rex, right?
Yes.
And I'm just kind of like, sure, Jan, right? Like that's how physics work. Like a Jeep can outrun a T-Rex. But then I also feel like everyone who owns a Jeep, like they have it for this reason because they think that one day they're going to be able to like outrun a T-Rex.
Yeah.
Don't you feel like that?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I don't think you're going to find a single Jeep owner that's going to say, absolutely, my car cannot outrun a T-Rex.
Especially ones that are like designed exactly with the print of the Jurassic Park.
Thank you.
Like, because they have that. Like, you can get that.
They have that.
Oh, there's people who have that. Definitely.
Can I just say that, like, when they first got to the island and they got in the Jeeps, they saw the logo Jurassic Park on the fucking car. Why wouldn't one of them turn to John Hammond and be like, what does this mean, John? Like Jurassic Park? Like, where or what is going on here?
At that point, they were still stupid because that was the seatbelt part. So like the doctors still hadn't like caught up to their like avatar. So like they were still dumb from the drop. So like they only became smart in the other Jeep. They became smart in the ride when the ride goes down and they figured out how to break the thing, which was so easy to be like, let me just lift this out.
They had to connect with the other scientists and then their vibes had to fuse in order for them to like really get it.
That's science. Yeah.
That's how science works.
Well, I want to.
That's science.
Mob mentality of science.
Yeah, for sure. But you know what though? Maybe there's something in the air too. We see we're adding our own lore, which is what we do this on our podcast all the time. We start conspiracy theories because it's fun. But maybe there was something in the air because I read something once that back during that time period where there were dinosaurs, it wasn't just dinosaurs that were huge. Like fucking everything was huge because apparently there was like a lot of oxygen in the air. And so just creatures and everything were growing really big and everything was very flammable, which is why when, and there's going to be a scientist that's going to be like, wrong, you're fucking wrong.
So many scientists listen to the Nostalgia Test podcast. It's like our main demographic. Is
we actually want to piss off the scientists. It's fine.
Well, you know what? I'm going to say the same thing I say on our podcast. If we're wrong, you can personally contact us and fucking tell us that we're wrong.
No, we only say that about celebrities when we mispronounce their names. Like when
we say about everybody.
Like when I call Barack Obama,
call me personally.
Like when I call Barack Obama Barry, and you're like, "How dare you?" And I'm like, "I don't know. That's
like you can't.
He can correct me."
can't do that.
Rock, contact the
Please correct me.
No.
We'll do
We
your
get it.
favorite movie.
We don't care. We like pass or drop things. We're like, if we're wrong, let us know. Because come on, let's go.
Listen.
No, but I agree. Like, so you're saying that it was flammable. So the whole world was more flammable.
Well, yeah,
that's
what
remember they had like the plants. Like she's holding this huge leaf.
The plants, everything was bigger back then. Like the insects, everything was bigger because it was a lot more oxygen in the air.
No, that makes sense. Do you remember at the very end of Don't Look Up, where they re-land on Earth and dinosaurs have taken back over? Everything's huge.
Yes.
Don't Look Up? Is that the right movie?
Yes.
It's the right movie.
She ends up killing.
Yes, we watched it. We did it for the podcast.
I don't remember it.
Jennifer Lawrence, Leonardo DiCaprio. It's apocalyptic.
Listen, my memory, like I am like a really old computer. I have like the only things I remember are the tabs that are currently open. Like once I close a tab, it is gone.
So they sent out rockets to try to get the meteors to stop destroying the Earth, but only the rich people get out, and they end up going to a new planet, and the planet has like these huge monsters on it that end up killing naked old people.
Okay. I literally, you could be right. I literally don't remember. I'm not even kidding.
You never saw this movie then? It's called Don't Look Up. It's about like,
I know what it's about.
Yeah.
Were you just getting ready to say we did an episode on it because you don't even fucking remember?
I am surprised that no one has talked about the sexual tension between Jeff Goldblum's character and Dr. Ellie Sattler. There was some major sexual tension there.
I thought it was more that he was trying to keep flirting with her and like showing more affection than the other guy. So she was kind of like going with it because she wanted the other guy to.
Did you see her squirming and giggling when he was doing the water on her hands? Like,
oh my God. That's such garbage. And then he touched her hair in this weird way. Like he came out, he's like this, and I'm like, we just watched Ghostbusters. If you switch around like Peter Venkman with Jeff Goldblum's character, I mean, it's the same creepy, like kind of like, hey, I'm here to kind of like maybe do my job, but also really I'm here to hit on you. Like,
well, I mean, he was there, like you said, for the heart. Like, remember when he's like sitting on the stretcher or whatever? He's like kind of like
with his shirt a little open, like Burt Reynolds, Playgirl.
He was so horny for no reason, like for real, for no reason. He
just was like, "Yo, we might die tomorrow or today."
Like shirt,
or like whatever,
shirt open, like striking a pose. And listen,
well, he was on morphine.
Like he was hot.
Yeah,
he was on morphine though, so he was high as fuck.
Oh, okay, well, sure.
Yeah.
Well, that explains that part, but like.
Was he on morphine the whole time?
Well, he's flirting with her the whole time. He's like, remember he even asked her, he's like, "Are you guys a thing? Can I go after her?" Like he did try to be like, no, you know,
and
like
Sam Neill's like, give me the step away.
Okay. Yeah,
he said yes.
He's like, yeah.
He says we're a thing.
Yeah, that's after Jeff Goldblum was like, I'm always looking for another ex, like, you know, whatever his character's name is. Like, you and he's like, yeah. It's because it's like we need to like saddle her with this.
But they didn't really have like a thing. They were kind of just like
I'm trying to
liking each other.
I thought they were together like the whole time. That's why she kept hinting about kids.
Yeah. Well, I think at the end, like in the recent one, they kind of like rekindle that storyline. That they were kind of in love with each other, but like no, he never made a move because there's both awkward doctors or whatever. So that's why she was probably like she was smitten on the fact that she was getting hit on by Jeff Goldblum's character. So,
I'd have hit it
in the middle of like the most
in the middle of all this, right?
We might die tomorrow. We might die now.
Yeah, might die while we were hitting it.
Courtney would have hit it in the Jeep with the T-Rex outside growling.
The children in the Jeep right next to us.
With the children in the next Jeep.
There you go.
While they're waiting next to the T-Rex.
Look away, kids. Flare. Look away.
The goat's gone. It's like,
shut off the light.
Care.
Courtney's roosters in the background.
It's a wet scene. Let's go.
My roosters in the background. Like, bitch, come out.
But the scene, like kind of reversing the scene that the Tyrannosaurus Rex is like running. It would have been cool to see how fast they were going to show that it was going faster because they did say they clocked it at 60.
30.
So like I would like to have seen that the the thing was going like 80 miles an hour, and then like you're telling me this thing just gives up.
Wait a
like,
second.
I don't think it would have given up.
Manny.
Like it's what?
They clocked the T-Rex at 30.
30.
If that thing was going to run 60 miles an hour,
the Raptors were at 60.
Crazy because the Jeep just had to get to 35.
Mm-hmm.
That means
so like fine.
That's why when he pushed the gear, into like first gear or whatever it was.
So he slowed it down a little.
Right, and then when he went into second and third, like he was able to get out of there.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
No, the Raptor was like cheetah speed.
I can't drive a manual. I would have just died.
Perish.
I would have been dead. I'd done it once when we went cross country. I think it would have.
Yeah, we went across country with Dan and another friend in its stick shift, and only 2 of us really knew how to drive stick shift.
Yeah,
and
no one wanted to teach me really.
And Dan, we had Dan drive like twice.
No, I drove more than twice.
I remember it as 2 times.
No, I drove through the
because I remember
Colorado.
Going, oh yeah, we're gonna be in open land and the open road, so you could just kind of like kick it to 6th gear and be fine, and then traffic, and we're like, oh shit, Dan's stalling out all the time.
I drove more than twice because I remember driving to Niagara Falls. I drove when you guys fell asleep in the car, and I was trying to read the map while at the same time as driving a stick when I didn't know how to do it, and I drove through the mountains of Colorado. And all those things. Once we got into more cities,
2 times,
you guys
bro.
Are like, no, you're wrong.
I think you drove twice, bro.
You're wrong.
I remember this twice. I'm not gonna Google it.
Remember what you remember.
My husband tried to teach me how to drive a stick shift when I was like 18, I think. And I think I stalled his car out like 2 or 3 times, and he's like, get out of the driver's seat. Just leave it alone. Get out of the driver's seat. He has a stick shift car now. And I'm pretty sure he'll deny this, but I'm pretty sure it's because I totaled his car last February. And then he bought a stick shift car, and I'm pretty sure it's so I can't drive it.
That checks out.
Yeah. So I only had like maybe a couple weeks to learn before we went cross country. So and I had lessons from like a friend who shall not be named, who's not really a friend anymore, for a little bit, and then like one other time in the actual car I was going to drive, and they're like, all right, let's drive for 6 weeks, and I was like, this is what you get, we do.
Yeah, it was fine. We made it through. We're here now. So.
Yeah, you didn't die. You're fine.
No, it was absolutely fine.
I learned as a child because I come from a European family who only had stick shifts, and we were told that we needed to learn how to do this just in case. So
and now they're obsolete.
No, but I love stick shift cars. That's
not really. My husband just bought one, so
yeah.
You could still buy them, and I think that they're great because it's actually driving instead of just holding your steering wheel. So it's a
nice tangent.
I'm glad your husband has one.
So
I like to disassociate while I drive. So I don't want to have to do things.
Yeah. I want to be surprised that I showed up at my destination.
It is always a surprise.
I'm like, I'm
with
here.
New cars, you could kind of do that because you could put like my new car. Me and my wife it's like assisted cruise control. You could kind of just, it slows down.
Yeah.
Like
I just saw the Waymo car driving around my neighborhood. So it was like the driverless car just driving around like my neighborhood. So that was interesting.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Why does it have a steering wheel?
Well, because somebody needs to be able to take it over.
Why?
Exactly.
If it's going crazy, you're dead. Who's taking it over?
I feel
like Smart House, but a car.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a horror movie with Smart House.
I feel like it doesn't need a steering wheel, just like the Jeep in Jurassic Park didn't need a steering wheel if it was on that track, because you couldn't take it off that track. Now, I kind of agree if you're going to think about this Uber list or the Ubers and whatever cars that drive. Okay, I get it. Like, if you need to, you can take it over. But then that would mean that you could use.
What is that?
Let's do everything. You could use. You could get 5 people in the car then. Because there's no driver.
Right.
So the person, can they touch the brakes and the gas?
Bro, I don't know.
There's a lot of questions I have for those kind of things.
That
that would never work
in
New York.
Day.
I know Arizona has a lot of them.
I wonder if those would be good for like mailmen, because like they could just sit in the passenger seat. The car could drive itself.
And then
you should put that in as like a suggestion. Like how to help your mailman out. Because then, yeah, he could just kind of sit there and like it goes like 2 miles an hour, and he's just like,
yeah,
yeah, I like it. I think it's
All
a
right.
great idea.
I should start a podcast called
How is this the nostalgia drive?
How to fix problems no one's complaining about.
I'm sure mailmen complain about the fact that they have to like. Well, no, some mail trucks have the wheel on the other side.
Yeah, my husband's dad was a mailman, but he didn't have the right hand steering, so he had like a setup, like a
whole thing he built.
Well, no, he like bought like the setup.
Starting now.
What is happening? This is
called a tangent.
Right,
I want to hear about this thing.
The mailman, the mailman podcast.
Okay.
Starting now.
Sorry. Back to Jurassic Park.
I see that Manny is your tangent guy and Courtney is my tangent girl.
Yeah.
No, Rose would literally be like, "Can you hurry the fuck up? Shut up."
Oh yeah, Dan. If Dan wasn't here, we'd be. I'm the Jeep that you could. I'm the gas powered Jeep. Dan is the Jeep that's on the rails.
I'm keeping this all in, just so
except
that
Jurassic.
understand
Except sometimes the Tyrannosaurus Rex called
happening.
ADHD comes in and knocks the damn Jeep off the rails.
Well, Rose is editing in her head, and I go off on these tangents, and she just disassociates and nods.
Disassociate, and then I go, okay, so the last real thing we were talking about.
I'm trying to say, I'm literally trying to go, before we put this to the test, are there anything else that we would like to say about Jurassic Park? I'm trying to think about, before we put this to test? Not about
did you like the scene that you didn't say please?
Did I like that?
I remember that. I thought... I think one thing I did want to bring up is the classic when the Tyrannosaurus Rex was, because we were talking about fear and this was scary and like we're kind of making fun of everything, but like in the end, like this is a very suspenseful, like Steven Spielberg is great at telling stories and getting you to like using camera and sound and visual cues to make things scary and no dialogue. And I thought, again, after not seeing this for a long time, the cup thing, like
that was good.
Yes,
like it was classic.
Rattling,
yeah. I thought I like remember when it came on. I was like, oh yeah, this is like it's an epic scene. Like it gets used as jokes all the time, and like then you see it again in the footprint of the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and you're like, oh shit, it's coming back. Oh no, so I thought that was cool. Yeah, but that's kind of what I want to say.
I think like the sentience of the raptors is really what got me the most in here. Yeah. Like they're not just like animals, they're like horrifying toddlers, like they're what toddlers wish they were. And it's one of those things where it's like they're opening doors, they're coordinating, they are terrifying and
people out.
Yeah. They're I think that's what got me the most with this movie is the raptors. And again, this was nightmare fuel for me. And I'm going to have nightmares tonight. I mean, I'm 34 years old and I'm going to go to bed and I'm going to have nightmares tonight about it.
It was very suspenseful. I wasn't sure if it was going to hold up in the same way. And it really does. I do have to say though, the girls fighting in the end, like the T-Rex and the raptors. And then the old man pulling up in the Jeep and being like, I've also decided not to endorse my park because everyone fucking died.
Yeah.
It
took that. It took all of that.
And they just abandoned all the dinosaurs there.
Yeah. Do they like nuke the island afterwards or do they just abandon them?
No. So in Lost World, they go back.
Okay.
And then there's a third one, and then there's like
there's a lot of them.
They keep making it.
So there is a point. Remember, they said that if they stop feeding them an enzyme or something, they would all die. Like Samuel says it. Like, what about this protocol? It's like they needed to be fed or given this thing, or they would all kind of slowly die. But then I guess you could argue Jeff Goldblum's character's part is that like life will find a way. And I think in Lost World, like they realized that, and I think there's. Have you guys seen the other ones? You've never seen like all of them?
I saw the one that's like in a city.
Oh, okay. That's like one of the newer ones, I think.
Lost World. It's like an amusement park thing.
No, I don't know. It was a while ago.
Okay.
I saw it a while ago where it was like in a city. There's like a T-Rex loose in New York or something like that.
That goes in the backyard and drinks from the pool.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's like one of the recent ones where they kind of get they get out of the island.
Yeah.
So it goes into like
yes.
It goes into like they're still on the island a couple of times, and then there was this other island that was like where they actually did something else, and then you found out about that, and then they made the world where they were able to control these guys, or so they thought, and there was like it was like actually the park was open and there was like great adventure, but all these dinosaurs and stuff that goes wild with Chris Pratt, and then it comes to that they all leave the island because there's like dinosaurs that can swim, fly, and they get to the city.
Yeah. Which
so,
that they should have ended up just killing everyone. I mean, there's no way you're defeating these dinosaurs. So
we just couldn't learn our fucking lesson.
But the whole do you know the
science
whole point of it, right? Why he even did all this? What the whole story is?
The flea circus?
No.
Yeah.
I hated that.
He came up with
his
cloning.
Tragic backstory. We heard his tragic backstory.
He came up with cloning because his wife died.
Okay.
John Hammond?
Not in this movie, right? They
daughter died. No, they don't talk about it. He brings up this like flea circus thing, but they change the whole thing to his daughter dies, and he comes up with cloning to clone her, and then her clone comes back in like Jurassic 4. It's like
what the hell?
Then just be a little weirdo and clone your daughter and be a freak. Like, don't have to fucking do all this crazy shit.
It's like Pet Cemetery. Like this guy,
like figure out how to clone and kill those little things before they get big, and then
that's creepy as fuck.
There is one more thing I want to say. The whole thing about the T-Rex, where it's like, don't move.
Oh yeah,
they can only see movement. Bitch, you don't know that. Like, you don't know that.
So that's a lie. That's actually historically inaccurate.
How do they know?
Tyrannosaurus Rex had, because he's more like a bird. Like recently, they found out that he had like binocular type vision, like a bird of prey, and so he could see everything.
That's
and he had a nose. So you tell me they couldn't smell?
Well, it's not even
human sweat and anxiety. And like all this stuff.
Yeah. So it's not even that. It's like if he can't see things that don't move, he's gonna be running into trees, off cliffs, into rocks. Like, I mean, like how is he seeing it? Like echolocation, like or like Daredevil? Like it doesn't make sense to me. And T-Rex always sneaks up on people. Like he's just there out of nowhere, comes into the visitor center. Like no one noticed. This huge dinosaur.
There was no footprint thing going on then.
Yeah.
Did they not feel the tremors?
Yeah, exactly. All of a sudden, the raptors are gonna attack, and all of a sudden, a T-Rex. Wow! It's just like, where was it hiding?
Yeah. I mean, it was cool scene though when the raptors he finally kills them all, and like the thing is floating down, and now he takes the position of what the T-Rex in bones was. Like that was, and that T-Rex actually saves like 3 different movies. Like he comes in and like saves from other big T-Rexes that they made. I think T-Rex actually has a name, and it like
woman has to do everything.
Yeah,
she saves. They make this like ultimate T-Rex, and she bites off the T-Rex.
Ultimate. I remember seeing it. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. So like, and then now you become a fan of this T-Rex.
So she's like a tortured heroine.
Exactly.
What's her backstory? She's all alone. She doesn't have kids.
I mean, they didn't make a second T-Rex, right?
It was just
Dude,
one.
I don't
it was
know.
just one lonely ass T-Rex.
No,
she was trying to hug everyone, and she would accidentally.
Maybe she was exactly.
No, listen, she was made.
She just wanted cuddles.
She was just created by Paleo Peepaw and then abandoned to the wild, like you, Rose.
Remember, he creepily had to be there for their. He's like, I want to be here for every birth. I'm like, how do you know? You're doing so many other things. Like they're gonna call you every time this thing like hatches, and he's like, they need to.
He's probably really
with me.
He was probably really close to eating ice cream, and then they just
but like,
the
thing is like, so if that was the case, right, and they actually made a connection with him, he should have been more involved in saving, because like he could have just sat there and been like, hey, it's me, and then T-Rex would have been like, oh,
okay.
Dad, and
I think in the books,
right?
I think he dies in the book.
Oh,
Good.
I'm pretty sure that I
He
think
should have
John
died.
Hammond gets killed. A lot more people die in the book, and like grisly deaths, like in the book. The book's really good.
I mean,
so if anyone wants to read Jurassic Park, go ahead.
He should have
How
taken
many-
Samuel's part of going to
How
do the
many
Yeah.
dinosaurs do you think one of those scientists just kind of slipped in a pocket and took home with them? Because I would have taken at least one.
I think a bunch.
I think it definitely happened.
Yeah.
Like,
Because
it
embryos
easily
are worth
could
50
happen.
grand.
Dude, he picks up when he picks up the little raptor, he just
wants to
kind of
kill
like
it.
no one's stopping him. Like
Mhm.
like the other doctors is like, oh yeah, they're just picking this thing
pick
up.
Yeah,
He
pick
could
up
have
this
just like
cloned dinosaur.
thrown it out, could have like just ran out. Like they're just like letting him grab out of this like open air nest thing. I don't know.
I just
Pablo
thought
should have just snapped its neck.
that's what I was saying
should've.
when I was watching him. Like Sam Neill is like holding this raptor, being like, "You bred raptors," and then like he's looking at his like raptor, and he's like wants to fucking squeeze it and kill it. And I'm like,
should have.
you should have just done that. But I mean, what's the big deal? There's
Should have
a
been
bunch
like
of big ones.
you need to not make predators. You should only make the
Mhm.
veggies and like
Yeah.
You know
All
what
right.
the-
Yeah.
the-
Go
wait,
ahead, Rose.
What the most unbelievable part is that men would have the ability to clone dinosaurs and they wouldn't fuck with them. They wouldn't be like, this one's gonna have an AK-47 for an arm, and this one's gonna have like, you know what I mean? Like the head of a
Yeah.
penguin. You know, like just create
Oh,
like
yeah.
really weird fucking
they do
animals.
that. They end up like messing with
Yep.
the third one. They
They
finally
make
realize
new ones.
they make
Yeah. New animals.
like better dinosaurs, I guess. Like they
Yeah.
combine like this skill with that one and
Yeah.
Okay,
and
all right.
and camouflage with raptor speed and you're
Yeah.
like why? But
Is
That's
that where
what
man would do, you're
Velocipaster
right.
came from?
Holy shit! I gotta see that movie.
What is
I
it?
have to, Manny. It would be
What is
way off.
Velocipaster.
It would be way off the topic of our podcast, but we
Okay.
might need to just watch this movie called Velocipaster.
What is it? It's a pastor that's a
Turns into a
velociraptor.
velociraptor. Yeah,
Mhm.
you got it.
It's,
No.
it's a non-denominational dinosaur.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
found Jesus.
Heard.
Mhm.
Does it
Uh,
talk?
Freaking-
Does it talk?
He turns
Like when
into,
it turns
like, you
into
know,
the raptor? Have you guys seen
No.
this?
I haven't seen it.
So my kids watched it. I have not.
Really?
Oh my god,
That's
All right.
great.
Well, I
All
think
right.
on that note, that's a good
Yes.
way to go. Right
In the end,
into
we
the
made fun of this
nostalgia.
movie, but
So we're gonna put
Good
this
movie.
to this test, right? Does Jurassic Park pass the nostalgia test? Is it still good? Does it fail? And is it just nostalgic? Or is it fail terribly? And it is what Manny and I at this point have been calling Three Musketeers bad, Airheads bad, or Take Your
Three
pants off
Musketeers
and jacket
bar
bad.
bad.
Yeah, Three Musketeers.
not Three
bar.
Musketeers, the movie.
Yeah, we haven't watched Three Musketeers the movie
No.
yet.
So,
So
think it
Courtney?
I think it passes.
have your kids watched it?
Yes.
Yes. Liked it? Loved it?
They did love it. I had two that were pretty obsessed with dinosaurs. The other three, not so much, but I had two that were really obsessed with dinosaurs. So they
Okay.
were obsessed.
Did they watch the other ones?
They watched one of the Jurassic World movies with Chris
Okay.
Pratt, but I don't
Yeah.
like the other two.
Got it.
awesome.
So
All right, Rose, go ahead.
So I think I also will say that it passes. This moment here where you guys are like, does it pass? It kind of feels like when you're in traffic court and they're like, how do you plead? And you're like, fuck, like I was speeding, but I can't plead guilty or I'm immediately like I have
No,
to
you
do
totally
not
could
guilty.
say it doesn't. It could stay. Listen, it could stay.
No, but I do think it passes because it just watching it still felt like awe. Like you still feel that awe
Mhm.
of like,
Mhm.
holy shit, like that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it passes. And for the most part, the story was solid, minus a few minor little holes here or there.
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg had to pay rent, man.
Yeah.
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 Rent was due.
Manny, what do you think?
I think, of course, it passes.
Okay.
My biggest thing is that I say to you, Dan, all the time is, did I suspend my disbelief?
Mm.
And like just become part of Jurassic Park world and be like,
Mm.
yeah, this could this could work and this kid could survive. And yeah, definitely. I mean,
yeah,
it's just classic movie telling, classic CGI. It hit all the nostalgic feelings, and again, it's like proof. There's kids watching it to this day,
yeah,
and they're still feeling the same way. And like, I didn't think dinosaurs even mattered anymore to kids because there's so many other things for them to get distracted and into. That the fact that it's still like you went from the Chris Pratt and then this, and like, yeah, the other 2 or 3 are kind of meh movies, and I like C+ movies, but I don't like C+ sequels. I think that gets annoying. But this one is good. The other ones are like the Chris Pratt ones, and when they bring this storyline back, is great because you should watch it just for the fact that they go back into the park. They end up back here, and you see the entrance again, and like there's like plant growth and stuff, and like, oh yeah, and like they do a lot of Easter egg stuff too.
They need that nostalgia to kind of
they need to like everybody wants nostalgia now. Obviously, we have a whole podcast about it, but like it's good. So yeah, it definitely passes.
Well, I'm gonna agree with everyone. I think it passes. I almost cried when I saw the first dinosaur. I was just like, oh, there we go. I mean, the music just got to me. Everything. I think the actors are amazing. I love all of them. I mean, as annoying as the characters can be, I think like at least they have there's some sort of reaction to them, because there's so many movies that we watch where we're just like, I hate all these people, but in a different way. Like when we watched Airheads, I was just like, this sucks. Like, and everyone here sucks, and this whole story sucks. But with Jurassic Park, it's like this kid is annoying. He's doing his job. He's supposed to be super annoying and not listening and not doing what he's supposed to be doing and creating that tension. And I think they did that really well. So yeah, I think Jurassic Park, 100%. Everyone should just watch it. It's a really great movie. That's a win for the 90s.
If you're listening right now, we've ruined the movie for you.
You would still love it.
They won't be able to follow what happened.
That's true. They're like, when did they talked about this in the beginning?
Yeah, they're like, there was a box and someone died, and then there was a kid, and Jeff Goldblum
was a hacker.
There's
really a lot of talk about ice cream.
Shirtless man who was bleeding on a table.
Bleeding and horny.
Yes.
You know, I read your guys' email about like what you guys call really bad movies. And Three Musketeers is one of my favorite candy bars.
Really?
That's good. We couldn't understand it when we did that episode and we both ate it. We were like, what is this? What is this whole thing?
So what it is that I don't like nougat. I think I don't like nougat alone. I think it needs to have something. So that was when we were eating it. We're like, why is this such a popular bar? Because it's like, it's kind of like a whatever.
It was so popular, and I'll tell you why. Because it was labeled as like the better for you candy bar.
Yeah.
Because it's like 33% less fat. So like all the almond moms of like the 90s were like, sure, you could have a Three Musketeer bar. There's 33% less fat. So like now in our heads, we're like, I'm not doing anything bad. It's just Three Musketeers.
Yeah. Did you know that it came in two other flavors? Chocolate and strawberry. Yeah. You had it then? Or you remembered that?
I remember the chocolate one, and I don't think I've ever had the strawberry one, but I knew that it came in strawberry.
The strawberry one can't be good. There's no way. I'm like,
no
nothing strawberry flavored is ever good.
It's never that great.
It's always like
the artificial strawberry.
Yeah,
it never tastes like actual strawberry. It always tastes
like strawberry milk.
Else. Yeah, it's what it tastes like is artificial strawberry. Yeah. That's the flavor. Like we've been programmed now to be like, oh, that tastes like strawberry. No, it tastes like artificial strawberry, and that's
like artificial grape.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Because it's hard to get. I'm trying to think like what a strawberry really tastes like. Like I don't think I've ever had anything unless it has real strawberries in it that tastes like that.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
Anyways, we're gonna go on another
Rose
podcast.
Courtney, thank you so much. I know. Thank you so much for being on. This was super fun. We could talk for hours, obviously, and this was so great. Tell everyone again about your podcast and like where they can find it and where they can follow you all.
Yeah, you can find our podcast anywhere you find podcasts. So like Apple, Spotify, all the places. And go follow us on TikTok, man. We're fighting for our lives out here in these TikTok streets.
Fighting for our lives.
Dude, tell us about it. I mean, we've been fighting for our lives out there. Buzz in the Tower has 1 million likes, and I'm like, come on.
We've ended up on the wrong side of TikTok a few times, and people are coming at us.
Oh no!
And we're like, "Oof, you should block us." To be honest,
terrible.
It's kind of. I mean, you need that algorithm though. Like, you need the chat. You know, it's annoying, but it's like we said it. Sometimes it is good to get some hate because you're just like, well, at least
people really did not like our take on Airheads. So I mean, that was
we got reamed at.
People get angry. Like, it's so wild to me. Like, I thought, like, we're talking about fictional people. Like, you can't really get mad. This isn't your mother, right? You're not going to be mad at me, but people do get mad.
People would rather us call their mother a bitch than like mess with their fictional movies.
Yeah,
I've had
especially you talk. You made fun of like cancer people, right?
Okay, first of all, having a terminal cancer diagnosis as a teenager does not exempt you from being cringy AF. Okay.
Yeah. No, we didn't make fun of the cancer. We made fun of what the cancer kids were doing, and that's
the fact that they have cancer is just like it's
a side item. Like, it could have been anything.
Didn't factor in.
Yeah, they were still. We're still allowed to call that out.
We are. I mean, we make fun of ourselves too.
Yeah.
What's the @ again?
It's just Fiction Fixation, I believe. If you type it into TikTok, you should find us there. Courtney and Manny, you guys get together, talk about your Mailman podcast. It's gonna be a blast.
I'll send you pictures, Manny. It's like a whole contraption.
Danny and I will not be listening, but we wish
put that on the Instagram.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for listening. If you're here, please follow us on Nostalgia Test Podcast. Subscribe. Leave your comments below for this. Did we get it right? Favorite parts about Jurassic Park? Anything else Jurassic Park? Just leave those comments, and we will see you on the next test.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. Please subscribe to the Nostalgia Test Podcast to know when new episodes drop. Don't forget to leave us 5 stars and a positive review so more people can find the podcast. Share your thoughts and memories on today's topic on our Twitter @NostalgiaTest and on Instagram @TheNostalgiaTest. Tune in next time because you never know what pop culture will pop up on The Nostalgia Test.